Hello, this is a small introduction to penetration testing. This means getting into the shoes of an attacker and try to compromise a system or infrastructure. Of course, we're not going to do this with a real system. We are going to use a virtual machine installed with a specially built Linux distribution called Metasploitable 2. It has been designed to have as many vulnerabilities as possible in order to have people like us trained in penetration testing. In Moodle, you would find a package with this virtual machine. Here it is. And also in Moodle, you will find another tool that we're going to use. It is another virtual machine with an installation of Parrot Security 4.8. It's also a Linux distribution equipped with many tools to perform different security-related tasks like pen testing. Booting each machine should be straightforward. Make sure that each machine is in the right NAT network, like this, so that they can see each other. In case you need it, the password for the Metasploitable 2 machine is just here. Is mfmesfadmin, and the password is the same. The username for the Parrot OS is manager, and the password is parrot, R-R-R-O-T, all little letters. There we are. Once the virtual machines are up, we can start with a tutorial. An attacker will start by gathering as much information about its target as possible. We will act in a similar manner, assuming we know nothing about our target. To find the target, we will use a tool called Nmap. We open a shell here. But first, we need to find out in which network we are with IPA. So we are in this network here. Now with Nmap, we can perform a ping sweep with the following command: nmap -sp in the network 10.0.2.0 star, or we can just say 0/24, which is equivalent in Nmap. This program sends pings to all the IP addresses in this subnetwork and shows which of them have answered. The first two, 1 and 2, are virtual machine hosts of VirtualBox, so we don't need to bother with them. Also, number 15 is exactly our machine, so the only one left is this number 4. That must be our target machine. Once the target is located, we need to assess which entry points are available. This means checking what services are up, and this can also be accomplished with Nmap. Nmap, we say the range of ports that we want to scan from 5, and the IP address 10.0.2.4. This tries to connect to all the ports in the target machine and reports which ones are active. As you can see, there are a number of open ports. We go back here, belonging to well-known services like FTP or SSH. There is a port 80 for HTTP, but there are also open ports for databases and remote console services. There is also an SMTP server, that means the mail protocol, and we're going to take advantage of this to finding the names of the users in the machines. For this we need a list of usernames, and this file has been uploaded in Moodle as week.zip. I've got it here, week.zip. So if we unzip it, unzip week, we have two files, one for usernames and one for passwords. This command, smtp user enum, with these parameters, minus username and minus target 10.0.2.4, reads the usernames in the usernames.txt and asks the server if each username exists, and show those that do. With a bit of sed magic, we can create a list of the valid usernames. So if we sed minus n s star sorry. Now, these are the usernames that exist in the machine from the list that we provided. So with these steps, we have a preliminary information about our target. We have the IP address, we have open ports, and we have a set of users of the machine. More aggressive approaches can reveal the version of the services in each port, the kind of OS the target is running, etc. This information can be used to search for vulnerabilities and exploits that can be used on the victim. You can check the database provided by rapid7.com. But let's start with our first attack. This is a dictionary attack on the FTP service, and we need a list of users and a list of passwords to test. The user list we have already, and the list of common weak passwords can be found in the weak zip. Since some people use username as the password, we are going to add the usernames we found to the password list. Cat existing passwords. The tool to perform the brute force attack is called Hydra, and the command line is fairly straightforward. Hydra minus L for the users existing, minus P for the passwords, and then the destination host or target and the service we're going to attack. This command checks for all the combinations of username and password. You can see that it will check a total of 1,800 logins. To stay under the radar, it only performs about 6 checks per second, so it can take a while. Finally, after some time, here's a list of usernames and passwords that the FTP server recognizes. You can see that they are pretty weak. Once at this point, we can access the server with one of these accounts and see what we can do. For instance, FTP if we show the current directory, we can see that we are at the home of the user. So that means that the whole of this user's account is accessible. This includes configuration files like the SSH directory, meaning that I can upload a public key to the authorized keys file and access this account through the SSH without a password. It is really a poor configuration of the FTP server. Let's move on to another attack. We've talked about this kind in class, the backdoors. These are left in a production server by a malicious developer. In this instance, the target is also the FTP server. To activate it, we have to attempt logging into the server with a username that contains a smiley, independently of this existing or not. So logging in again with a user whatever, as long as it has a smiley. I give whatever password and this blocks. We cancel the program, and now the backdoor should be open in port 6200. And there it is. If we say hostname, we need to add a semicolon after the commands. We can see that we are in the Metasploitable machine, and if I ask what account I'm using, you can see that I'm root. This means that I can execute commands with root privileges. This is a very evil backdoor indeed. The next attack takes a different approach. We will exploit a vulnerability existing in PHP that allows command injection. And to do this, we will use a framework called Metasploit. It provides an infrastructure to ease the development and execution of exploits. It is widely used in the pen testing community. To start it, we go to Applications, Pen Testing, Exploitation Tools, Metasploit Framework. Here there is a GUI application called Armitage that you can experiment with if you like, but I am going to use the original command line tool. As you know, I love command lines. Since the Metasploit requires root privileges, we have to give the password to perform a sudo. This is again parrot. And the execution begins. It takes a while to set up all the infrastructure. Once in the command line, you can ask for help at any moment. With the command help. This provides a summary of the commands that Metasploit accepts. The web server open on port 80 of the Metasploitable machine has many vulnerabilities. We are going to exploit one in PHP when executed as a CGI. And to do this, we have to load an exploit into Metasploit. This can be done with the use command. Notice that the exploits and other modules are organized in a tree. Once it's loaded, it's reflected on the prompt here, and we can see the current configuration with show options. Observe that there are a set of reasonable default values, like the remote port, that is 80, and some don't. These we need to give values to with the set command our hosts 10. We can use the show options again to ensure that the value of the remote host has been assigned. For this attack, we don't need to set any more options, so we can proceed to the execution with the exploit command. Exploit. See that after some log messages, we arrive to a different prompt. Meterpreter is a sophisticated shellcode. You can see that it's almost 40 kilobytes long. This allows a wealth of actions, as you can see in the help. But for now, we're just going to have a shell to see what we can do in this machine. Typing the command shell, we get access to the machine, and we can type the same commands as before. Host name, and we see that it's metasploitable, and who am I shows us that we are in the target machine with the user of the web server www-data. As an attacker, we can exploit this by changing files in the website, for instance, but it would be better to have root privileges. For this, we are going to perform a fourth and last attack, a privilege escalation based on the UDEV subsystem. First, we need to close the shell with exit, but we want to keep the Meterpreter connection because it's going to be the channel for this new exploit. With background, we send the session into the background, not closing it, and now we can load the new exploit. Use exploit Linux local udev with show options. We can see how it's configured, and we only need to supply a session number. We're going to assign the session number 1 that we backgrounded before. Set session 1. Show options. Now we just have to type exploit to execute it. And we get another Meterpreter in session 2. So we have 2 sessions open. And here we can check that we are in the target machine. Host name. It didn't work. Let me try again. We're going to try again with exploit. See if this time it does work. Host name. Nope. Shell host name. Okay, so we are in the Metasploitable machine, and if I say who am I, we are root. Excellent. That means that we have full control over the machine. A criminal in this instance would probably install a rootkit to add a backdoor to the system and avoid having to take all these steps every time they want to access the system. But we are not criminals. We are pen testers. So our next step would be writing a report to inform our client about the vulnerabilities we have found. Okay, this was a short introduction to penetration testing. I hope you enjoyed it. You can follow these steps on your computer, but you can also try different attacks, like those in the link I added to Moodle. Here there are many attacks, but there are hundreds of them. Just Google Metasploitable guide or Metasploitable tutorial or hacking, and you will find many more things to try. So I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye for now.